It's time for another episode of Hops and Hedges, where we talk about beer, landscaping, and everything in between. Season 1 is proudly sponsored by ext.tech, helping you grow and revolutionize your landscaping business. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in. Recording in progress. There we go. Oh my gosh, Jonas Spring. We are finally on the podcast with all
live
the
and
technical
direct
issues and everything else. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming onto the show. This is so exciting for me. Probably not as exciting for you, but that's okay.
My pleasure.
Very cool. So, Jonas, for people who are tuning in who have no idea who you are and what you do, lay it on us.
All right, so I have a landscaping and gardening business. We're going to be 20 years this season will be 20 years. And when is this podcast going to air? Because
that's a good
if
question.
It airs before Saturday, then we'll have our opening day of our third season ever of our retail operation that sells native plants called the Toronto Plant Market. So
oh my
I have
gosh.
a landscaping and gardening business called Ecoman, and we have another sort of venture called the Toronto Plant Market, which is in our third season, this starting Saturday, basically.
And sorry, what was that called again? I missed it.
Toronto Plant Market.
Toronto Plant Market. Oh, okay. It's funny. I saw that on your questionnaire, and I was like, oh, which Toronto Plant Market? Oh, no, that's what it's called. Got it.
The idea is you pick the most generic name possible.
I love
and then
it.
It's like then
people Google it, right? They know what they're looking for. I'm looking for a Toronto Plant Market,
words
and you
that
come up.
Would put together, and then of course you just get us. So
I love that. Yeah, no,
that's the idea.
You are actually scheduled to go on almost halfway through my season. So scheduling these podcast interviews has been nuts. I just looked at my calendar, and you are actually scheduled to go. This episode here that we're recording is scheduled to go up on June 12th.
Okay, so then by the time this goes to air, we'll be deep into our season already with the plant market.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to have to come visit because a Toronto Plant Market sounds amazing.
It is so much fun. Like we don't know anything about retail, honestly, but it's so fun because, you get these mom and pops coming in and they're just buying like 2 plants and they're spending like half an hour,
picking the perfect
deciding,
one.
And it's just so sweet and funny.
Yeah.
But then you get like you meet the coolest people. Like we get, there's sort of the intangible thing of people come in for a plant and then hire us for a design. That also happens.
Yeah.
But then you get these sort of in-betweenies where, like a teacher gets a Pollen ATO grant for $500 and then doesn't have access to wholesale pricing or doesn't really want to leave the city anyway. So they just show up with their Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Pop the trunk, load up with plants, and then take it back to their school. And they're just like, literally like jumping
so
for
grateful.
Like, they're just so happy. It's so funny. Like, I just love that. There is a cool part to it because nobody's really doing that. Like, as far as native plants, like you can buy native plants at a nursery. That's not the issue. But the fact that we just sort of specialize in that, it's really one-stop shopping for that. I think we're over 100 species.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And we buy from all the local growers and everything. So people can come to us and get stuff that they wouldn't be able to get if they just went to one grower because we buy from a whole bunch. So.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I was going to ask you if it was like perennials or houseplants, or is it a combination of both? Or
yeah, so the way we do it, this is partly how we do the Ecoman business also. But so we do an ecological reference for each part of the garden center. So for example, like everybody heard of the woodland understory garden, right?
Right.
So we have a section called woodland understory. So all the plants there would be growing under a canopy tree. And so if the client comes in and says, I got a big tree, then we just send them over there and they just go to town. And then we have another section for meadow. So we're basically like, if you have a grass area in your house, you're converting to like wildflowers. So then that would be your section. We have another section called the hardscape plants, which that's kind of like my sort of people who know me know me. That's like my big thing was like buildings are cliffs. We did this big research on all the plants that grow on cliffs and alvars in southern
Yeah.
Ontario. And then those are the plants that we use for like green roofs or patios or parking
Ah,
lots,
so
anywhere where
cool.
there's concrete and people and gravel. So these
Yep.
plants will grow in crevices and cracks, basically anywhere. So we call that the hardscape plants. We have a whole section just for that.
Huh.
And then we have like the wet feet section for, because in Toronto, they have a downspout disconnect program. So everybody had to
Yep.
like handle all their own water. So we have like a section for like swales and, just areas that are going to get a little bit wet. So we have a section for that. And then you asked about indoor plants. This is top secret, but by the time this
Okay. I won't tell
airs, it
anybody
will
except
be,
everyone else on the internet.
yeah, yeah. This will be, so by the time this airs, we'll have launched this thing. So I'm totally fine to say it.
Okay.
We did an ecological reference for indoor plants. And the idea was researching places around the world that are room temperature and dry. And
Huh.
there's 5 places in the world that are room temperature and dry, like ish, not
Yep.
it's not always room temperature, but like within a range. So California has one. There's like the Chaparral, there's a Mataral, there's South Africa has one, there's the
Huh.
Mediterranean has it, and Australia. So basically these are areas that are super dry and and basically room temperature. And the idea being is that no matter where you are in the world, or even if you were on the moon, it's going to be room temperature, it's going to be dry. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of like the ecosystem of our house. So we did this big research project, and Shada, who rents a hot desk at the Toronto Plant Market, she's a gardener, has her own business,
Yeah.
4A Gardens, for those of you who want to know. She helped me make the list, or helped me to like cross-reference the list with actual commercial availability, like plants that we can actually buy without having to,
Oh man, that's
do
cool.
something really crazy. So we're going to be launching that as a separate table. So we'll have 6 things. We'll have food. I didn't mention food. We do food table.
Yeah.
And then we have the hardscape plants, meadow plants, woodland understory, wet feet, and then the indoor reference, which I don't have a catchy name for that yet, but
Okay.
yeah, think of it.
Very, very
Let me know.
cool. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is really interesting. And so you've been at this officially or unofficially for 20 years? Because I feel like you've been like you were just because I know you from a distance, right? I've seen you at different LO events, I've seen you at different stuff, and I think you're actually a member of the new board, right? For Landscape Ontario coming in.
Yes. So we just had our elections at the Toronto chapter, and I'm still on the board. I'm going to be the provincial board rep. So I'll go to the provincial board meetings and report back to the Toronto chapter.
Gotcha. So you're the board member that represents the Toronto chapter.
Yeah. So it's
That position.
basically
Very
one
cool.
chapter, one vote at the
Yep.
board, and then one sector group, one vote.
Yep.
And then there's a few other positions. And then there's the executive, like but basically you get one vote for the chapter. Yeah.
Okay. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Oh my gosh. So I have so many freaking questions for you. Um, so
Lay it on me.
because this is so exciting for me. So I know we'll get one big thing out of the way because I am most definitely drinking a beer.
Okay.
Because the day I've had with technology, I know that you're having a thing with technology too, walking around with your phone. It's all good.
Yeah.
We've had some episodes where people have frozen or we can't hear them. It's technology. It is what it is. We're just gonna roll with it, you know? So
Okay.
do you have
Let's get.
a drink going or a beverage of
I do
choice?
have a drink
Or
going. I'm gonna like really piss off the crowd here.
that's
I do
okay. I doubt it.
apologize that.
We've had tea on the show. We've had hot chocolate on the
Okay.
show. We've had water.
Okay. So I'm probably like getting some hate here, but just still doing the little
Okay.
Radler.
Oh, nice. And that's the Moosehead
It was
Radler.
really warm out today, 7
Yep.
degrees, 8 degrees. A little refreshing,
Nice.
little grapefruit Radler.
Yep. Very nice.
Cheers,
Good call.
cheers.
Cheers to you, my friend. I am drinking Blue Moon from
Blue Moon. Okay.
yep, this was one of my I affectionately call them my gateway beers because I was not a beer person at all.
Oh,
And
okay. So this is what got it going.
this is one of them. I wouldn't say this is the one, but this is one of them. Usually when you go to a restaurant and it's on draft, it's super cold and it's served with a big slice of fresh orange.
Hmm.
And I like that citrusy, and so yep, that's what I'm drinking.
Well,
So,
I'd have to say I'm a pretty cheap date, couple two, three, and
and you're
that's
good.
enough
You're
for
just
me.
rolling.
Yeah, yeah,
I
pretty much. Yeah.
unfortunately am not. So, probably has
Okay.
to do with the medication that I take for mental health. So it's like that
Oh, I
makes my
by the
tolerance a
way,
lot
totally
lower or higher.
ready to embrace mental health sidetrack if needed at some point in the interview. So
Yes, mental health.
whenever if you
Woo!
want to do, we just actually our last meeting, which was our AGM,
Yeah,
and the topic was mental health. We had a facilitator, so you can just circle back. We don't have to do that yet, but if you
very
want to
cool.
do that, I'm
Well,
down for
yeah,
that.
actually, so while I'm thinking of it then, so your AGM like at the Toronto chapter, and so you had somebody
Correct.
come in and talk about mental health
Yep, 100%.
at the
And
chapter
this is
level. So
a
that's
funny
really cool.
story. His name's Jeff. He's amazing,
Okay,
but
I'm
he
gonna look
lived
this guy
across
up.
the street from me for 10 years and we didn't know each other. And we would just nod to each other. He's the guy with the ponytail,
Right? And you're like, hey,
and his
sup?
kid goes to my kid's school. And we didn't know anything about each other. We just nodded, and that was it for 10 years.
Wow.
And then 4 months ago in October, um, through a whole set of circumstances, which too long of a story, but basically we met and I discovered that he had all of these tools in his tool belt. He does mediation, he does conflict, like with groups, he does a lot of sort of group work, which is adjacent to mental health, but most of his work involves building community and building connections. So
Yeah.
in the context of work, and a lot of times in the context of work, but the cool part is that like even if you're having a really stressful day or you're dealing with some mental health stuff, if you have a safe space or if you have a community around you and you feel comfortable, then that can be a support for you. That's
Yeah.
actually really important. So he's like coming at it from that side of things, not really like he's certainly not a mental health professional, and we certainly aren't going to be diagnosing and helping people like in a 2-hour meeting. That
Right.
really wasn't the thing. But he had this awesome like session. We had 2 hours. We did a circle, then we broke into smaller groups and got back
Yeah.
in the circle. It was just, yeah, it was really good.
Man, that's awesome. Having
Yeah.
the just the space, like the permission to, be in a group and to talk openly about things, but having that support is huge because I think of people who don't, right? I take for granted that I'm very open about it and talking about it. It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
know, but
And
I
and it's
think
stressful, like running a business.
yeah.
What nature doesn't wait. Like if you have to, how many times have you had to, sacrifice your body or your mind because the plants needed water, or you have to cover something because it's going to rain, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, you want to finish it because you don't want to go back, or the client's
Hmm.
calling you and won't pay you unless you do this extra thing, so you're doing it with hate in your heart, or what or
You
whatever it
know?
is. So I feel like as an owner, and it happens with workers obviously also, but as an
Yeah.
owner, we uh will do the right thing for our business often at the expense of our bodies, our minds. And
Yeah.
sometimes we'll protect our own team with our bodies and our minds. I can
Yeah.
remember times when the neighbor was being completely brutal with one of my guys,
Hmm.
like a verbally abusive, and I went over and confronted them, and I wasn't in the mood to do that. I didn't want to, but what
Yeah.
am I going to do? I have to be in front, I have to protect my people, or even just the stress of not having work the next day or the next week or the next month.
Yeah.
But you don't want to burden your guys with that, right? Like you want them to be like happy, so you just don't talk about it, so now you internalize it, and God forbid you take it out on your family. Like this, it's real. Yeah.
It's huge. And so many people, I think a lot of people struggle with it alone, right?
Yeah.
Or think that they're struggling with it alone. And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really something that I get quite passionate about, both on the
Yeah.
podcast and off, is that
Well, I was diagnosed quite recently as an adult with ADHD. So for me, it's kind of
Congratulations
like a
on your
new,
diagnosis, because that's hard to
it's so
do
great. Like
as an adult.
it's so great. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I did a little self-medication for years and years, but
Hmm.
having ADHD happens to be one of those ones where the prescription drugs, 80% of the time they improve quality of life. So I
Yeah,
guess it's like a good one to, good, bad, but
a
I'm just
good
saying
one. Yeah.
like it's one that they have treatment for it. It's not cure, but it's treatment. And I feel like I can honestly say, and I'm like anti-big pharma, big cynic about, pills and, all
Yep.
that. But at the same time, it's like when you're my age and everything is just bothering you and this gives you a quality of life that makes everybody's life around you also better.
Yep.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying go for it,
Yeah. I know Sean James, he says, you know what? Whatever it is, it's your superpower. So just own it, run with it. I
Yeah,
find it
yeah.
inspiring. I actually,
And honestly, like he's a little older than me, but we kind of grew up in a generation of like, white knuckle it, just kind of get through it, give her and just do it. That nobody was there for us. Nobody was,
no,
diagnosing it unless it was like wildly obvious or
obvious.
something. But like
Yeah.
nobody cared to check in on the rest of us, like the middle 60% or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
actually just recently myself went through the attempting to, I'm still, I guess, partway through it, but they ruled out adult ADHD because I guess I've got 5 of the 6 markers is what they said. Because they're like, well, to
Okay.
your knowledge, you don't remember having any of these things or tics or mannerisms that you do now as a kid. So we're thinking that
Mm,
it's not ADHD. But I guess I
okay.
scored really high for social anxiety, which is really funny
Hmm.
to me.
Okay.
Not funny. Hold on. Pause. Stop. Erase that. Funny, not funny, but funny to me because I'm actually an actor. I'm a performer. I'm a public speaker. A lot of people see me as energetic and enthusiastic and outgoing, and I'm a extrovert and all these labels. But
Yeah.
I'm actually really good at masking and pretending to be
Yep.
this person, right?
Yep. The
Um,
extrovert introvert. Yeah. I,
yeah,
I I think I have that. Definitely I can relate to that and resonates for me for
yeah,
sure.
I'm more of an
Hmm.
extroverted introvert, is what I
Yes,
tell
yes,
people,
yes. Yeah,
right?
yeah. And also I wonder if I'm just curious, I don't mean to interview the interviewer, but do you
No.
find it like you can do all of that, but it will take so much out of you that when you come home,
So
you are a puddle like on the floor for
I
like,
crash real hard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're up
Yeah.
and yeah. So I don't know who you're doing it with, but I have had a couple false starts in getting my diagnosis, but I ended up doing
Mm.
it like after doing the most ADHD thing ever of like forgetting I had the appointment and not putting it in my calendar and not reading the fine print and
Yeah.
not being in province, which is apparently like the big thing. So they took my money,
Hmm.
but they wouldn't do the work.
Hmm.
Anyways, ended up at Frida and they did the whole thing over the phone and it was fantastic. And yeah, so
Okay. I will write that
yeah.
down. Frida, I
Yeah,
might just
Frida's like the
look into that.
online sort
Yeah,
of
I've that's come
pipeline
across
to
my desk
ADHD diagnosis.
in my research. So
Yeah. You came
I'm
across Frida?
I have. Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because now
might
the
just do that.
algorithm's so powerful, like you're gonna get it. If you look at TikTok and you watch one
Right?
ADHD video, you're gonna get it, man.
I am just bombarded. Like I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that my phone is listening to me because it's like, oh, you want to learn about ADHD and mental health
yeah, yeah,
and what
yeah,
depression is and what all the side effects are from the brain medication that you're taking. Here you go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like anyway,
It,
oh my
it is a
gosh.
bit ironic that there's so much health, like positive outcomes associated with gardening, and yet mental health is still like a serious obstacle in in the trades, like in horticulture and as a
Oh yeah.
profession, like, and maybe it's more attributable to the fact that it's running your own business is the stressful part or whatever. But
I think it's the
fact
business
is, like, I do
ownership.
get my hands in the ground. What's that?
Well, I was just going to say I think it's part of the business ownership, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
also the time that we're living in.
yeah.
I think that it's becoming
Oh my God. Yep.
That could be a whole other podcast episode. We'll have to bring you on for
Yeah.
podcast episode part 2 where we get
Yeah,
down
yeah,
and
the
dirty with
return.
it,
Yeah, we haven't even talked about any plants yet, but
Jonas
we
Spring,
just
the
like
return.
straight to the mental health. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
And beer.
Of course. I mean, not that I'm self-medicating or anything.
Hmm.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
So where to next?
So it's so funny when I was looking at your the podcast interview that I sent you, and right away when I asked you about your property and what it looks like, and you said the shoemaker's son has no shoes, and I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard because that is how
so
I
true.
introduce myself to people. They're like, your garden must be the best. It must have so many flowers and all the native flowers, and well, it's got lots of weeds that I don't know if they're native or not, but I'm just not pulling them. So
yeah, I have one thing that I'm very proud of in the garden, which I can show you.
I would love that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is great because you're on your phone,
So
so you can move around.
We're going mobile with this.
I love it. Jonas is taking on a little tour. I like that. I should try and do that.
Honestly, it doesn't look like much, being that it's still March, but
yeah.
So I'm gonna just remember we were talking about buildings or cliffs and references and all that. How do I turn my camera around? Can I turn my camera around? I should be able to.
Do you have an Apple? I just got blurry. What's happening?
Let me see. There's gotta be an option to turn the camera. Oh, there it is. So this is a prototype of a green wall.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's ferns at the top. That's marginal wood fern.
Yeah.
Cedar, that's like the king, like the backbone of the hardscape plants is like cedars grow on the cliffs for 1,000 years.
Wow.
This is Carex eburnia, which is like a full sun carex, which grows in gravel.
Yeah.
So like everybody thinks carex, oh, wet shade, right? But this one will take sun and it grows in gravel. Anyways, so this is basically just like stone, 2-inch stone in a gabion basket filled with gravel, and then the plants are jammed in the crevices and cracks. And this is epic. An elderberry, but it's I'm gonna flip the camera around. But anyways, that's what I have. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
In the
it's
garden.
So funny because with cedars, we often think like cedars need wet.
Well, okay, so the coolest thing about the hardscape plants like research project was about half of the plants, maybe 3/4, were common plants that I knew were for sale, like I could buy.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that they had that ability. So for that perfect example, I thought cedars were swamp, wet, and that's what they wanted. And I come to find out that there's these ones that are growing on the escarpment that are 1,000 years old, and they're literally living in a crevice.
Whoa.
In limestone. So they're exposed to full sun. They're exposed to like hardly any water. Like the whole thing just blows my mind even to this day. So that was like about half, maybe 3/4 of the plants were things that I knew, but I didn't know they could do that.
Right.
And then the other like quarter that was left was like plants I'd never heard of or couldn't find, or, just like were a bit unknown to me. And that's been super fun also, is like calling all the nurseries and being like, do you have, bluets? And they're like, what? Yeah, we have like 1 or 2 at the back kind of thing. And then like you find out this is like an amazing plant that'll grow in pure sand and gravel, and you're like, and like there's another one that everyone knows, like wild strawberry, grows in gravel, grows in all different aspects, whether it's woodland or rocks or sun, but like it'll grow in like the lamest soils, the thinnest, least fertile soils. So that's been super fun. Like just finding out about plants doing things you didn't know they could do. The carex one is a good example, like it's
kind of like people, how it's exciting when we find out we can do something that we didn't think we could do.
yeah, so that's been super fun. And then of course all these plants breaking the rules, like, columbine, it grows in rocks, but in a woodland situation. So
Yeah.
does it go in this category or in this category? Everything's kind
Huh.
of like, you can't make these categories and expect it to, you know, work out perfectly. There's plants that will do kind of both.
Right. I think that's one of the things that really excites me about gardening is that you can look up, columbine, part shade, whatever, woodland, but then you plant it in a spot that's sandy, full sun, and depending on your situation, it might do really well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I've
Like
seen it
plants have
growing
a
on a
way of
green
just
roof.
surprising us.
Yeah, no, I've seen it
And
growing on a green roof.
yeah,
I've seen columbines growing in laneways, like just in the crevices, like where there's nothing there, no soil at
yeah,
all. It's just growing in the
little
crevice.
seed made its way in there and it's
Yeah. You know what else does that? Anise hyssop, like agastache, you know that one?
yes.
The with the purple?
That's such a great that one is just buzzing with activity of pollinators.
Right.
Like
So
I've
then
I've
that
seen
one I would
cultivars
put
of
it in
it,
the
doesn't matter.
so in the nursery, I would put that in the meadow, table, right? But I have pictures of it coming out of the cracks of my neighbor's driveway,
Yep.
and it didn't have a scratch on it. It wasn't like it was like sad and small, like it was like happy.
Yeah.
And then I've seen another neighbor has it growing under a Norway maple in shade, flowering. I'm like, no way, this is impossible.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the plants will just kind of do what they do, and you kind of have to
Yeah.
you got to take the literature with a grain of salt is all I'm going to say. Like you got
Yeah.
to try it some other way and maybe it'll work.
I love that how plants have a way of reminding us that, oh, you thought you knew everything? Guess what?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you
Humbling,
can't. It's
humbling.
so humbling working with plants because we don't.
Yeah.
And plants
Yeah,
have a
for
way
sure.
of just surprising us. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, total man, that hardscape thing, that's so cool. Okay, so we've got about 7.5 more minutes here. So I'm gonna see what else
Oh boy.
what more information I can squeeze out of you. So
Okay.
houseplants, do you have a favorite?
Houseplants is tough because I am the black thumb in the house. My wife, Desiree, waters and cares for them all.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, I have one story. But everything's hardscape plants. I do apologize, but
No, I love it.
so
I'm digging it. No pun
so in
intended,
the
or pun intended.
research, we were looking at these room temperature places. So we went to California's lists and
Yep.
we're going through, and this blew my mind. So two of the plants that we looked at for the hardscape plants was Dryopteris. We looked at so wood fern, marginal wood
Mm-hmm.
fern, we looked at that. And then we also looked at kinnikinnick, you know that one, beerberry,
Yes.
Arctostophilus uva ursi. It's like a boxwood green leaf,
Yeah.
and it's basically evergreen. So anyways, these are huge families. So it turns out that the fern had the same fern of the genus in California, still growing in gravel, like still growing in the same aspect or habitat that it was growing here in Southern Ontario. The only difference was the last name. It even looked the same.
Yeah.
So that was like crazy to me that like we're talking, 10,000 kilometers away, still growing in a gravelly kind of thing. But the only difference was it was, room temperature instead of Toronto.
Yeah.
And but the exact looks the same, and then same genus name but different specific epithet. And then the same thing with our the kinnikinnick also. I think there was 20 or 30 species that are native to California, and I was just like, what is going on? So
Yeah.
these plants have cousins that live on the other side, that live in the same soil type, and then do a similar thing, obviously, but different species. So that blew my mind. So then I was like, I got to get these things over here.
Yeah.
And that's where I really got stuck because
Ugh.
none
Plants
of
over the
the
border.
house plants are sold by botanical name, like by Latin name. So I had no idea what anything is in the
Oh,
store. So you can't do provenance. You can't figure out anything's provenance from the lists that I had from commercial availability. Everything's like all you get is like fern, 4-inch pot fern.
yeah. Thanks so much.
So that's when I had to call in Shada. So the long short answer is basically I do love all of these plants that I'm starting to learn about that we're going to try out. And I haven't tried them out, but we're going to try them out in this idea. And then the idea of having like a fern that was a cousin to the fern that we grow and we actually sell. That to me would be like the ultimate cool thing. Would be able to have two ferns, same genus, still same like habitat, but then just from 10,000 kilometers away.
Holy smokes. That's pretty cool. So I was going to ask you if there's a house plant you can't keep alive, but if you don't look after them, I imagine
I can kill them
there's
all.
many.
I can kill them.
I love that. I can kill them all.
Yeah. I took a huge I've done a lot of experimenting. Like you saw that kind of wall I showed you, like the prototype wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a similar one inside and didn't really plan it out very well. And then it's the moisture at it was a big tower with holes in it, and the water was seeping down and like basically ruining our floor.
Right.
And Des had me throw it out the house. So I had to basically like chuck the whole thing out. But the plants did reasonably well. But I've killed so many, like, endless how many I've killed.
Right. So people look at us gardeners and we're like, oh, you do so much and you plant so many trees and you keep things alive. It's like, yes, but I've also killed a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's all just experimentation.
Oh, yeah.
So I see that you're also a fan of limestone, right? It's an Ontario natural stone. It's locally sourced. So welcome to the club. This is very quickly becoming a podcast that is pro natural stone for anybody else who's watching and considering stone for your landscape. Limestone. It's Ontario. It's sourced.
Yeah, totally love it.
Will not go out of style.
We do get people asking about alternatives, that are cheaper and stuff. And, I listen to the podcast with David Milne and, we feel the same way, I guess. But at the end of the day, there's so many clients out there that are looking to have a landscape, and so this is sort of their way of making it accessible, right? They buy a cheaper material that's imported. It's a difficult one, no question about it. But we love working with natural stone, local stone. Love it.
Me too. And it will never go out of style. I love, it's timeless. It's always going to look good. So,
sure.
With about 2 minutes left, last question for you. Yeah. There is so much more that I would love to talk to you. So if you think I'm all right, because I think you're all right, then maybe we'll bring you back for a Jonas part 2.
We can do a round 2. Just
excellent.
Getting started.
I think we've got
just getting started.
Lots more to talk about. But I do want to ask if there is a book that you would recommend, either for horticulture, business, professional, or personal development, that you think our listeners should look into.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So one, we only have 2 minutes. So I would just say the most impactful books for me have been gardening adjacent. So go out there and look for a book that will give you some ecology or some kind of systems thinking.
Yeah.
One such book would be Larry Weiner's book. I think, let's see if I want to make sure I got the name right. I have to edit this, but
that's okay. And I can also look it up and add it. I don't do any video
Garden
editing
Revolution,
because they're all going to see us as we are. What's it called?
Yeah, Garden Revolution.
Garden Revolution.
But Larry Weiner is an American landscape architect he also started symposiums in the States, which I've been to 1 or 2 of those.
Excellent. Well, I am going to cut you off.
The intersection.
Because I'm going to cut you off because we're going to get cut off.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
well, there you
Jonas, thank you again so much for coming on the show, and I will see you again.
All right. Take care.
Excellent. Later. That concludes this week's episode, hosted by me, Heather Gerard at My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's some info about our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, your landscaping business needs modern solutions to keep up with the change. That's where EXT comes in. EXT is revolutionizing the way you manage projects and streamlines your landscaping, snow removal, and construction operations. Instead of juggling 5 different software packages, endless spreadsheets, losing track of leads, and missing out on potential sales, you could be leveraging AI job routing, client management, and financial insights with a modern mobile app that employees love to use. With EXT's flat rate pricing, you'll never be caught off guard. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech today to learn more. And for additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you. See you next week for another episode of Hops and Hedges.